Testing 1, 2. Hello, folks. Welcome to the show. Welcome. I'm just waiting for us to come completely online like we do every day. So welcome. If you are just coming in, all my buzzers are going off, and we've been keeping busy. So it looks like we're just waiting on a couple more to fire up, but some of them are already live. So welcome. Today is a great day. I am so fired up. We were able to get announced yesterday, and on some great steam, we met some amazing people, amazing Americans. And those Americans are so interested in what we're talking about. We are changing lives. Today's date is June 19th, 2019. I am your happy healer for President, Keith Landy. We're talking about today on today's show some serious stuff. We're going to be talking about our goals, the campaign goals moving forward. That's so important. We're also going to be talking about hiring staff, because that's a goal. That's one of the goals that we want to accomplish. And we're not going to put too many time frames on all of it, because we're just hitting it all at once, and we want to achieve it as quick as we can. And we're never going to give up. So it's not about, why put a time frame on it if it doesn't hit in a certain time frame? Are you going to give up? No. Why put a time frame on it? Are you going to wait that long if you can get it done sooner? No. We're moving for the American people as quickly as we can, and that's just the way it's always going to be. So we're going to hire some staff and get things going. And we're still waiting on a few channels to pop up. Maybe they're just not going to then, and that's fine too. So yeah, definitely welcome to the show. What I'd like to do is, and today is the 19th, so I hope you guys didn't miss me too much over the last couple of days, but today we will have a great one, and I just know you're going to enjoy it. So let's get this thing off to a start here. We're going to put in our video that we're made for earlier that you guys are really going to enjoy, and then we're going to go over some of these objectives. This was a time when the world wasn't just Americans. We're becoming enlightened and turning their back on barbaric ways. Folks, our current times call for the same measure. We have to turn our back on barbaric ways and move into the bright new future of they want to talk about putting America first, but you can't put America first unless you put its humanity first. And that is why I am running. Our campaign slogan is quite simple: because you matter. That's why I'm running. We'll see you today. It's today. God bless
you. Thank you very much. Thank you. Hi, how are you? That's right. How are you? Huh? Sure. It's nice to meet you.
Hello, hello.
How many people here are the happy healer? Anybody? The worst aspects of the human spirit. How are you, sir? God bless you. Thank you. Thank you. They say that everything's great. And the people who like the system now, they're scared too. They're suffering. They see everyone else suffering even worse, and they step back. They say, oh, I'm lucky. They really want to dream.
Hey, good brother.
Who do you support for president? You're here for Trump. Because here's my goal. My goal is to turn Trump people. Well, I'm a lot younger at 40. But here's the goal.
What's your name?
I'm Keith Landy. I'm running on the Democratic side for the Keith Landy. And the best way to find me, folks, is happyhealerforpresident.com. Happy Healer for President. This country needs a happy healer. That's why you're happy healer. That is to say, me, Keith Landy, is running for president. Where is the capacity to have love gone? We're the 25% of the global economy, yet 5% of the world's population. You better believe the American spirit has ingenuity. You better believe the American story is one of an exceptional one. But yet, look where the American stands today. And yes, I've seen him. And we're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about the drug addiction and the drug epidemic in this country, too. It's not funny how they turn the world all upside down on us. Well, in this campaign, we're going to right upside that world, and we're going to write up the rightful dream to the American people that provides the health care for the people that they need, that provides an income for all, $5,000 for a family of four, that provides the essence of life and the appreciation of life, one that says to take humanity first, you have to have common sense humanity policies. You can't just say what's right for the Democrats or what's right for the Republicans. You got to have an agenda that's for humanity. And humanity in America, we matter. We matter. They're trying to tell us we don't matter, or they're trying to tell us that their agenda is more important, that they're trying to confuse us, but we matter. Don't let them tell you no different. We matter. They laughed at Trump, and then look at how that turned out. I ask you to give me your ear now, and to give me a moment of your time. And I'll keep the story interesting, and I'll get straight to the point. Although, there is a lot to this story. So getting straight to the story will take some effort. But you just have to watch how your people's candidate gets it done. Your happy healer for President of the United States of America. And it's a plea and a wake-up call for our citizens to turn the page, to bring in the new spiritual realm of humanity, of love, and grace. We need that. We need it more so now than ever before. If I inspire you and you want to be a part of our campaign, well then you go to happyhealerforpresident.com. You got to support good people. This is about love. It is about truth. I am a good person. There's a lot of good people. You are a good person. I'm sure many of you are great people. So go in, enjoy your time, whatever it is that you're doing, protesting, seeing Trump, whatever the case is. I'm not even saying to stop supporting him. I'm just saying listen now. And I'm saying listen to the truth. We have to listen. And we have to listen to one another. And that's how great things happen. That's how change happens. I am your love candidate. So buckle up. We have an interesting one here for you. And a story that if you want to help out, you should spread far and wide. This is our story. And I intend to share it all throughout my campaign. These are truths that you likely never heard before. And you know how that I know that you're so precious? Do you even know how? Do you even know for a moment how I know that it's so true? And why that I know that's so true? And for what reason? We're going to get into all of that right here today. And we're going to address the actual issues that the American people are facing. We're going to talk about it right here today on this street corner. So all I ask is for your ear, and that you're here with me right now anyway. Give me your ear, and I am announcing this moment for presidency. Not the same way Trump is. I can't pull that off. I'm just one of you. I'm just one of you, in the true sense of the people's candidate. I believe in the American ingenuity, in the American kindness that has made our kindness so exceptional among a community of nations in the world. What makes the Americans so different and so special? It's you. It's each of us. Look, folks, I'm mad too. They've been toying with our lives, and this is why I'm running for president. I am here to fix it, and I yearn to see us in better days from the perspective of the small guy. With a big heart and a loving attitude, we can win with love, and it could be so much greater than hate. Love wins every time. Goodness prevails over evil, and so does love. Love prevails. Love is, of course, the essence of God. God is love, and God is truth. I intend to invoke the power of our Creator quite often in our campaign, given the measure of our task ahead. It's only appropriate. If we are ever to fix this country, including under a Happy Healer presidency, Keith Landy, that is I, we have to atone, and we have to take care of the problems and the people. The people are our country. You cannot put America first if you do not put America's people first. These are pivotal moments we live in, folks, and we have to remember where we came from. And people have such short memories, and many more realize that, heck, even I was only 21 when it happened. And that's 9/11. I'm a 40-year-old man today. And while that sticks out in our minds, it's by far not the only catastrophe we have witnessed. Let's think of the years since 9/11, the things we have witnessed. I am a 40-year-old man today, and while that's easy and sticks out, it's by far not the only one. Think about the tsunami, think about the Fukushima disaster. People are dying all the time, and there's disasters happening all the time. You know where the people that died in the tsunami ended up? In a Western circus show. They ended up in Bodies the Exhibit, lifeless human bodies on display for the admission of one adult. And that, my friends, is a great example of how the American dream and how the American people see humanity today. But we are fighting to change all of this and to enter humanity into a modern age, and that is what our goal is. To increase the living conditions of humanity. The way I see it, we are in rather barbaric days today, with all the dangers we see on a daily basis, and it really isn't humanity. And it's not humanity's fault. Just a few people that are at the top, they just control our lives. They limit our ability to do anything about it. There's too many people that are confused and don't know how to take action. So they buy into anything that sounds remotely like truth. And that, my friends, is how we ended up with Donald Trump as your 45th president of the United States. My name is Happy Healer Keith Landy. I am running for president as an uplifting person and inspiring. And I have thousands of people that look up to me as the Happy Healer to inspire them. And that taking somebody out of depression, or even a break from depression, is a gift to the world. It's a gift to everybody. And the hate is infecting everyone, and the ugliness is the thing that motivates me to do what I do. It makes the difference. People are just so completely worked up. This is a coming to Jesus moment, folks. We've got to get serious if we ever plan to ascend and bring the human race to a better place. And that is what this story is about. And that is what my candidacy for President of the United States is about. So, if I take pride in anything, and we all know that pride is a fool's errand, however, if I work to take pride in anything, it will sure be the fact that I have the courage now and the vision now to know that happy healing tactics really work, and that by using them, I have saved lives. Make no mistake about it. I have also saved lives, those lives, as your next president, right? We need a better America, and the people need to win, and we need to win with love, and that's what the Happy Healer does. And each of us have a Happy Healer in us, and it's the part of us that loves, and it's the part of us that respects truth. That's the part of us that is closest to our God. That's the part of us that needs to get serious. Hi, how are you? That's right. How are you? Huh? Sure. It's nice to meet you. The dream they sold us, the dream that we can grow up to be the people that we dreamed of when we were younger because of the power of our times, because of the advancement of technology, because of the forces just coming together in this era, for reasons that are just so true. The dream is still not alive for the American people, despite the ability to be there. And that has left so many people in despair, because it was us who was sold that dream in the first place. It was our parents who did the work, and our descendants. And what is more tragic is that they sold the dream to us, and now we are living in its aftermath, having not delivered on it. We get more billionaires every time a great time comes to America. What good does that do for you, the Happy Healer says, and for your family and for your children, so that they could steady trickle your feed with soul and power suggestions? It's something you never asked for, you didn't ask for, you didn't want, and they gave it to you anyway. We're not getting to the promised land they delivered, they promised to us. We are not getting to that promised land, folks, not with the plans they have, not with the way they're treating our salvation, our lives. And they have taken this precious thing in humanity and replaced it with lies. For the last 20 years, I personally, in my adult life, have witnessed the dream from my parents stolen from us now. Thank you very much. Thank you. And the best way to find me, folks, is happyhealerforpresident.com. Happy Healer for President. This country needs a happy healer. This country needs a happy healer. And so I am running for president as your Happy Healer, Keith Landy, and it's easy to remember. You don't even have to have signage. All you have to do is remember the state of our country, and then say, that's right, we need our Happy Healer for president, and add.com. Right? Well, folks, I'm going to go ahead and move on past this location. with the hopes that we can get heard and to spread the people's message loud and clear. I am a son of this city. I love Orlando, and well, this is where I'm running from, through media. God bless you guys.
Welcome. I hope you guys are doing great. This is your candidate. Awesome, that was great. And so that was just a show we just had, and that was yesterday. We made that today. That was from the yesterday. We had to go downtown and really deliver to the people, my own home city, just what's so important, what we're all dealing with. The times that we're facing, they aren't just tough and rough times for each individual. And we're going to talk about that. We're going to talk a little bit about drug addiction today. Do you know anybody that's suffering from drug addiction? You got to tell them to see your happy healer. You got to tell them to see your happy healer, because what they need is love, and they need compassion, and they need understanding, and they need knowledge, and they need a breakthrough. And that is just a starter for them. It is such a tough, rough ride. And for those of you who know that, and that's why we're dealing with an epidemic in this country that we have to take seriously. And I certainly take that seriously. So our goals moving forward, and we're going to get right into the drug epidemic, and I'm going to tell you about some of my own personal experiences as well. And you could just make your own choice up as to whether I'm being a smart guy or whether I'm a foolish guy. But when I said I was running, I said I'm being honest about it. And quite frankly, that's a decision I've made in life already years ago through this transformation, through becoming the happy healer. And so that's what's happening here. And I'm really excited about the ability to share with you guys this personal stuff as well, because it's what, first off, how can you even have the insight to solve these problems when you haven't dealt with it? You don't know anybody who's suffering with it. You're in a completely different class. You're part of one of those condescending candidates that will just never get you. And there's always those times when you just have to be level-headed. You have to have that coming to Jesus moment, and we will always have those moments. That's an expression of speech. I mean nothing more by it. And even if I did, I would say so, because that's just the way I am. And that's the way I would like to see more people in general. So as your president, we have our goals, and they're quite clear. And lifting humanity up is our goal. It's the one thing that we haven't been doing, and yet we've been experiencing the same problems over and over again. That is, by definition, the insanity. To continue trying something over and over again, you know it doesn't work, but you've been doing it, and you just continue doing it. So we're changing the way things are done. We are changing the way things are done. We are injecting care, and we are going to inject care in a way that people just understand. It's never going to stop, because that's how hard we have to push in these days, don't we? Especially with all the hate out there. And then the people will understand. They'll understand. They'll go for that ride. That's why I'm saying right now is the best time for a movement like ours, because maybe it is providence, because God is putting before us the opportunity to have better lives. If we seize that opportunity, if we choose to believe, we have to, if we intend to live up to the promise of our own ingenuity that we've already seen our people realize. 100 years ago, they didn't have the internet. 50 years ago, they didn't have it. 20 years ago, they didn't have it. And not even 10 years ago, they didn't have it the way it is now. And we're heading into 5G, which that would give you the ability, essentially, to download. Right now, it would take you about a minute and a half to 2-3 minutes, depending on your internet connection, to download an hour-long movie. Yeah, you know how long that's going to take after 5G hits? About 3 seconds. Yeah. So that changes the whole world. Science is changing. That's what we're talking about. We're talking about getting smarter and helping our own society through the ingenuity that our own humanity has developed. Through history, humanity has always reaped the benefit of its collective genius. Why now is that got to be just collected for a few people to reap profits that is at the expense of humanity making the next step? I don't understand that. Are we that in love with really capitalism and the idea of many people say that this is a perfect system? Maybe it was perfect to get us to where we are in barbaric times in comparison to where we want to be, really barbaric. Because we're talking about love and changing. We've got to ascend in a certain sense. We're not talking about something fake. We're not saying we're walking through some spiritual realm, or we're not talking, and spiritual realm is not fake, but we're not talking about going through some sort of dimension or something. This is quite clear. In your own mind are where a lot of changes have to happen. And when those changes happen, and they happen to a bunch of people, that is what the humanity movement is about. And we have to do it in our laws. And we have to really use our advantages instead of being afraid of them. People are afraid that if they get put out of work, they lose their purpose and value. Don't you know that comes from thinking all your purpose and value comes from just that work? That you have no other purpose and value? That there is no God? That there is no spirit? That's what you're saying. And so I just think you should be real careful about that, because on the other hand, then you want to come back and say that humanity has value or that we should get health care for all. But you have to put value on that for people in a real way. You can't say that we're all just animals and that animals have no value and neither do we. Or you can't just say that we're like automatons or robots and then expect for people inside their inner core to feel that value. You don't make it special. And that we are special. So why are you dumbing it down? So that's the Happy Healers message. I mean, that we are special. You know, to dumb down a message like that is just nuts. We are special. We are so special. I am your happy healer, running for president because I care, because you matter. Because we all matter. And until we all start treating each other like that, we're going to have a lot of these same problems, and they're just not going to dissipate. So this is a constant theme in our messaging, because it's the biggest theme. You can't get done any of the other stuff unless you make a shift. You know, these guys that are talking about getting health care for all and getting an income for all, they're not realistic, because they're not bringing the right on board. You'll never get that stuff if you don't bring the country on board. You got to have a united country, or you're just lying. So don't lie. Don't lie to the people. Don't say you're going to give them something, but don't include with it a plan that actually works. Don't say you're going to deliver health care for all. They need that. That's such a rude thing to do. That's so crude and cruel. They've been having lies going to them for so long. Why would you just do more, especially after all this additional wretched hate that we've all experienced? Why would you do that? I don't understand some of these candidates. I don't even understand why they're running unless they have some system by which they plan on paying for their proposals, paying for the Medicare and Medicaid that's already been out. That's very expensive. But actually what I want to get to is Social Security. These are very expensive programs. And if you want to be serious as a candidate, you have to address these programs. And we're doing better than that. We're saying, let's get up to par on technology. Let's get up to par on artificial intelligence. Let's start using our robots. Let's put them to work and put them in factories and put them on farms. Let's get them. Let's work them. Let's make them let's get so smart about the way we approach this that we can get as much of humanity out of doing monotonous tasks and into doing things that are for humanity. It could be after school programs. It could be school for adults because we never stop learning. It could be clubs and programs. It could be giving back to the community. There's going to be such a big service in the heart in the future economy because we're not going to be so motivated by money. Things are going to be motivated by your love and passion. That's your life we're talking about now. Before we entered the new world, we didn't even have a life. Our life was for our jobs. Our life was for other things. But then we gained the value and purpose we realized we always should have had. We go into the new world and we live our purpose and value. And that we have the ingenuity to get there because we already have the technological capability. And by the way, China is moving so quick on their 5G networks. They're going to have this ability to get 3-second, hour-and-a-half long movies. They're already there. And America is still working on this. That's why I'm running for president, because I want to beat China. I don't want to get beat by China. What good is being stronger than China economically if China is beating you in the biggest race of humanity right now? And that's in our, guys, please don't be foolish about this. Voters, my constituents, all constituents, Americans, don't be foolish. The world is changing so fast. And if we don't change as Americans and we're in the middle of a civil war, don't you think China loves that we're in the middle of a soft civil war? Because it stops us. And then it looks like we'll remain in this stagnant condition for years to come. And that's what I am running for. Unity. And to shock the world, to put America back on the map in a unified country and showing that we're working for a future that humanity would love to live in and that we're building it. We're doing the hard work. That's why I'm in it. Oh, yeah. Otherwise, I would not be in it. You see, all those other guys, they're in it because they want to be your president. They want to be your, I don't know why. Honestly, I just think that they like the idea of prestige and they like, thank you, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. They want to be the big dog. Man, that's such a fool's errand. It never gives back. Love is the thing that gives back. So, and then you have people who just vote in condescending candidates. They can't see a normal person and just see the God through them and see the love through them. They don't see it in some people, but most people, and that's the beauty about our time, or I wouldn't be running. If I didn't think that I, didn't have the right answers, and that the only right answers, really, and B, that I didn't feel that I could win, then I wouldn't do it. But I know I can. And the biggest objective for this campaign is to get the attention of the people. Because that is right now under a greedy system that awards money, it awards connections, it awards special interests. It does not award, unfortunately, heart, love, purity, the things that the American people need. It does not reward happy healers. No, that's the tough, hard work. That's the kind of people that you need to have in office, folks. The kind of people who's willing to dedicate their lives to philanthropy already and for no extra reward whatsoever. And when we get into a world that is focused like that it's selfless, that while everybody else is running as fast and as hard as they can towards the next green dollar, not realizing that they're losing their lives doing it, that when you really gain purpose and value, you're heading towards your salvation. Not that you're nuts about it. You just want to have fun here. God put us on earth to have fun, to have a great time, to enjoy life. And greed and hate and all of those lower emotions, they get right in the way of that. So I tell my Republican brothers and sisters, I say, let's love God together and let's not judge each other. Judging is so bad. because God didn't put us on this earth to judge one another. Nope, and you know that's so true. Yet we do it every single time, don't we? We have got to stop doing that. We have got to start caring for our people in a way that shows. We can't just be so quick to be, well, as Hillary Clinton said best, deplorable. Because that is deplorable. And there's, I would say, 5% of the population that are deplorable, it seems to be. Because we just have to realize, though, even in their case, they are in this world suffering with the rest of us, and they might not be so good at dealing with it. Not everybody gets an equal shot. And that this life is a journey. Never forget that. That you live a journey. Because if you were to just get to the destination, what is the point of the life? So that's what we're getting to. If the only point of life is to do the government's work and bidding and to do your boss's job and then for your descendants to do the same thing, and it's not enough that your relatives all have been doing this for the last how many hundreds of years, that we've finally reached a point in humanity that we can reach a higher ascension of spirituality in our own minds and humanity. This is the word everybody's using. It's by no mistake. The very nature of humanity is to recognize our spirituality. This is a very special thing about us. Our spirituality is our consciousness. It's our conscience. We're so aware of who we are. That is our spirit. You know you're alive. You have a special gift, and each one of us have that same special gift, and we have to be so appreciative to the life force, whatever you want to call it. And so that's what I say, that we have not to be judgmental towards one another. That's how we end up in these problems in the first place. That's why we're in this soft civil war that could very easily at any point turn into a hard civil war. Really, at any point. There's any one number of things, and throughout these 9 p.m. shows as we go forward, your happy healer, that would be me, will be talking about those. And I'll share them with you. The different things that you need to be aware of. And you need to hear from somebody that has clarity, that doesn't have any hate in their heart, that can take on any subject. Because those are the people that can see things clearly. They can give you and your family the necessary information you need to keep your family and yourselves safe and to make good decisions so that you're a good steward of your life. You know, one of the things I said that I would have done so well with growing up is having a better mentor. I had great parents who loved me. My father died when I was 18, and my mother died, well, in 2012. I had a brother die in 2000, just last year. And it's a sad thing, death is. So I learned, don't take life for granted. And I learned, people matter. So that's the journey that we're talking about. All of that is experience. All of that means something. And when you discount that, then you say you don't matter. And the moment you don't matter, that's when you can shove each other's faces in the dirt. It's when you can kick and gnaw and just not care. And that's not the answer. It leads to death. It leads to depression. It leads to a life not worth having. And there's no redemption from that hell. There is no redemption from that hell. And America is in hell right now. Just go out your front door. I mean, I know America is in a very bad shape right now. When you consider the fact that people are so vile with one another. You know? And it's always the best people that end up dying first. Never forget that. The people who stand in front of the bullet, the people who do the right thing. It's always the cowards who last the longest, and then those are the ones who take on the new world after. That's fine. I'll be with God in that case. I'll be a casualty of war, no doubt, because I'll be the one standing in front of the bullet. Guys, we need to wake up and realize what life really is about. And here I spend every moment trying to stop it from happening. You don't realize how crazy it is to spend so much effort and hard work knowing that you're on truth. You've been seeing truth for so long. So many blind people that can't just be blind, but they also have to be rude and know-it-alls. and they just march you straight into a war you never asked for. And at the same time, you're just saying, please don't do it. Please don't do it. I love you to death. And they just knock you over and they go straight to war. And then afterwards they say, how did that happen? And you say, but I've been seeing it for the last many years. Folks, there is something involved in the human psyche, in the human mind, that when we have hate and animosity in our heart, we can't see truth like as clearly. And I don't have that stuff, and we get triggered. It's because of our triggers. Think about it. What can I say that would make your blood boil real quick and then you can't think straight? There's so many things, I'm sure. That's not good. That means they can control you. And they put that there. I got rid of all mine. I was smart. I knew, and I heard God's listening, that the answer was love. That love was perfect. Oh, yes. And then everything became clear. So clear. I just love, and it's what we all need to do. So I want to move along because we've been going now for a bit, and we have one of these shows each night. And this is not an hour-long show or a 20-minute show. It's just, first and foremost, talking about what matters to people in America. And all people. This is life, what I like to call science, life science. This works. This is real workable solutions to real problems. And it's how we're going to face our country's problems. We're going to fix them through happy healing. And that's what going into love is. And that's what happened the last time there was a point in history where there was, then it was way worse. Because they had, even the Roman days and the Greek days where they've had a lot of enlightenment, lost it, had their dark ages, and then it was their period of enlightenment. We need a period of enlightenment now. It's so important. All right, I want to talk to you guys a little bit about drug addiction and what the country is going through. And I say this with a somber tone because it's so serious, the situation. And I don't know where you're tuning in from, or if you have ever had anybody that has dealt with any kind of drug issues or anything like that, but I have known people, I myself have had problems, and it's the kind of thing that you never bargain for. It's the kind of thing you never ask for. It just happens. And for me, I have one story. You might have another story. Everybody who realizes that, some people, they go into it foolishly. For other people, they just realize, oh no, I'm an addict. What happened? And there's two ways that happens, and it's usually one of those ways. And so I would say the way that is more known is if you are going into it like in a party atmosphere, you know that's not healthy, you know it could lead to addiction. Whereas if you're going into it in a doctor atmosphere, an injury, maybe that's not so obvious. Maybe you trust your doctor, and that's exactly what they tell us to do. But of course, we know they work for greed, not for care. But we're going to change that. We are going to change that. And by the way, that's what drug addicts need. They need compassion. Your other Democratic candidates want to throw $100 billion at it. Let me tell you something. There's still going to be so many addicts that are suffering. And that money is probably not even going to help them. You're doing it wrong. You're doing it wrong. All we got to do is take people to the right place in humanity. It'll fix that issue. It'll fix it. It won't be what it is today. Assured. You wouldn't even have to have a law against it. You know, when you trust people in humanity, that's the basis of my run. I trust you. I'm just a normal guy. What I thought about it. Oh, then my fellow humanity, that I'm just to the depths of my soul trying to lift out of this hell we're all in. It's not about, do you not want me to have Air Force One? That is just fine. We'll park the plane. This is about people. Like I said, we've got our condescending candidates. We know who they are. If that's who you want, then go for that. And I'll live in the same country with you after we all have it. And I'll be happy in my mind using happy healer tactics, just like I have been. That's how I got over my drug addiction. That's how I got over a lot of stuff. Oh yes, God prepares us in so many ways. You better believe it. So much promise your happy healer for President Keith Landy has had as a young lad. I mean, at the age of 16, working so hard, full-time, helping his parents, helping his mother who was homeless, get a place to live. And then after that, working so hard, giving up school, having had the ability and the brains to want to go to college, but not able to go to college because he couldn't afford it, didn't have that kind of upbringing, didn't have the parents that could afford it. In fact, we were homeless. I spent my 16th year with my godmother in New York. And then after I left to come back down with my family in Florida, upon arrival back in Florida, we were homeless. That's the life of your happy healer. They talk about privilege sometimes, and I know even we do in our party. And the truth is, I don't see it so much in my life, but that's fine because I don't see a lot of color, and I do see privilege in general. I'm not going to say I don't see privilege, and I do see racism. But on the individual soul, all we can do is continue to divide people if we don't acknowledge certain truths. And what I'm telling you here right now is just an inalienable truth. So let's continue. I come back and we're homeless. I'm 16. And I have to quit school. I can't work. I must work. I can't go to school. I can't go to school from the streets. That's how serious it was. And as a 16-year-old kid, I felt so empowered. I felt like I had so much energy. I just wanted to rescue my mother. That was my biggest goal. My biggest goal. I just wanted to rescue my mother. And so I worked hard. And I always was like that as a boy. Like I said, I was a mama's boy. You know, my biggest fear as a boy growing up was, what if something ever happened to my mom? So, and I'm just being dead serious. She'll always be like a big part of my life. So I did my best to get us a place. I got us a place, an apartment. I actually started working for a company called Boston Market. They serve turkey, chicken, beef, and they have vegetables, medley vegetables, new potatoes, green beans. It's a pretty good, healthy place to eat if you haven't been there before. I liked working there. I was a vegetarian at the time, actually. I was a vegetarian for, not my first 4 years there, I would say. But I started becoming a vegetarian around the age of 19. So anyway, I stuck with Boston Market. I became a manager there at the young age of 18, even though I wasn't able to go on to schooling like I wanted to. And trust me, I would have been a Harvard boy. Yes, no question. And it didn't work out like that for me, though. I had to take another path. You can't curse the world for that stuff. You just have to pick up and go on. And that's the way I lived my life. I knew that then as a kid. I knew that then. And when I hired people at the age of 18, all my bosses, and they were all middle-aged, they said, well, Keith, you're doing a great job. We're going to promote you, but we can't promote you in the store you're working in because nobody's going to respect you because of your young age. So they brought me to Gainesville, Florida. I was in Ocala, Florida at that time. And it was my first supervisory position like that, so I guess they were a little worried. And they brought me to Gainesville, and Gainesville was a store that was twice as busy. It had Marty Flynn, who used to be a district manager, so like one of the bigger head bosses for the company. And I went in there, me and Marty tag teamed that store and made it one of the best stores in the entire company. That's right, your happy healer. And all of the lawyers, and you better believe it, all of the college students out of Gainesville, Florida were looking up to my 18-year-old self turning, not quite 19, by the time I was 19, I became a general manager. So, but they were looking up to me at that age. And I was only there for 6 months. I was on a fast track, and then I became a general manager. And they put me back into the original store. They seen my talents were well beyond the ability to handle everybody, no matter my age. And they, all the students, and I'm sure they know me to this day, they will never forget me. The day I was promoted and I left that store, they found out, because what the bosses had told them from day one is that I was 26, because I looked young. I still look young. And they told them that I was 26. And so when I left, I said, well, folks, I'm getting promoted. They're like, oh, you deserve it, because I would always be pumping up my crew. We've got to do a great job for the customer, and we've got to serve our clients, our customers, and our shareholders. If you want to talk about business, the Happy Healer knows it backwards and forwards. I can shut my eyes and do business all day long, type 70 words a minute, fly my drone through the trees. God gives us gifts if we just take the effort to learn and to care and to love and to believe. So, my promising self, sure, I've had my heart hurt. That's what happens when you live so hard and you love so hard. And so, I got my promotion. They found out that I was not 26, but I was 18. And you see the big parade. They were holding me up. They were just so happy. It wasn't an issue about my age. They had total respect about that. And I still even had some time there, like another week or so, and it was great. And so I moved on to my home store and ran that. And I ended up having year-over-year sales growth increases, always beating our theoreticals. And COGS, which is cost of goods sold, always doing great numbers. And food cost and labor cost, and also labor is not just about the cost. You don't want to get too little, right? So you want a good flourishing business with great employees who are dedicated to the cause. We had that, and I stuck with it. I stuck with it for 7 years. Then I started my own company at the age of 22. That's right, and that was Crestline. And so then I done that and did some really big things, and was able to help out, for example, in hurricanes when people would have their lives at risk being lost in a hurricane. It's really serious work. All through my life, I always went towards the passion, the thing that was right to do. And when I hired people, even at Boston Market, I said, you can't get tied up in your salary. You have to do things for yourself. Never work for your salary. You work for yourself. In the new world, we're still going to say the same thing. That's what your Happy Healer's been saying since he was a manager from Boston Market. And, well, you could just talk to those people and they'll tell you. So I know and believe in the American ingenuity. I know my own truths. I know my own experiences. And after I went through the Boston Market, and this is a much longer story. I'm just moving it along because we're going to be getting off soon, and I want to talk a little bit more about the drug epidemic. But through this, and I'll have a lot more to say about that too. I mean, guys, that's why we're doing this show. This is about discovery. This is about figuring out the real problems our nation is experiencing today and how God uniquely prepared your Happy Healer to solve almost virtually all of them. I don't know why. That's why I'm running. And that it is, in one sense, perhaps just providence. In another sense, maybe just luck or whatever. In another sense, just the right thing to do. I'm not even putting a label on it. Do you understand? You just do what the right thing is to do. And that's how we all need to do. Now, after Boston Market, I started Crestline, did that great. We'll talk more about those stories, and they're great stories. But let me move on to the drugs, because we only have a few minutes left. Drug addiction right now in this country is killing souls. It's killing lives. It kills me to see the people that I have seen in such despair. We're going to have real conversations on these 9 p.m. shows. This is not about coming on and being like your fake condescending candidates. I'm sorry. We've got real human issues to work on, and we can certainly do it. We can do it. That's why I say we have to be able to always deal with truth, because so then we can get to the promised land. Otherwise, and what is the promised land? People in their triggers. That's why I say you got to stop with the triggers. Triggers, get rid of them. If you have preconceived notions over every single little word in your vocabulary, it's going to make you very limited. I mean, how can you even be philosophical or artistic or anything? You can't express yourself. I mean, you lock yourself in a box. That's not creativity, and that's what humanity is. We are so creative. How do you think we got to this point? How do you think we have everything we see around us today? This entire world is manufactured by our consciousness, by our spirit. Make no mistake about it. So the drug epidemic is real, and it's killing. And if we don't get serious about it, then we're going to lose more millions of people. And the best people, because these people are so alive that they're in such pain. That's why they do drugs and they stay on the drugs, because they're so alive and they're in such pain. When you're dulling, then you're just working for the man. How come that's better? I don't think that's better at all. I think we're all pretty sick in this nation, to be honest. I think we all need to do better, and I think we all can. And that's why I'm running. And we're going to touch so much more on the drug epidemic, my own personal struggle in the past, as well as our plans for the future moving forward. We'll have a great show for you again tomorrow. Today ended up an hour long. Sometimes it's going to be a little bit longer. Well, that's fine too. But we just stay busy. So God bless you. God bless your families. And we'll have more also from our announcement yesterday right here in downtown Orlando. Oh, the goals. Here we go. This is the last thing we're going to end the show with. Our goals moving forward. Something very important to me and to accomplish what we're trying to do here. And see, we can talk about deep things and come right back to what we're supposed to do, can't we? That's life. We're grown-ups. We're adults. We have the capacity, folks. It's just like I say, it's okay to cry. You have to use all your emotions to be a full and complete human being. Not to be nuts. You go nuts when you don't do that. Okay. So, objectives. We have to raise some money, more money. Otherwise, we can't do any of these objectives that I'm about to say. We need to hire some staff, because I have a lot of different things I'm doing. I have enough different things to do for multiple people at this point. Okay? So, we need staff, because we have to start thinking of a 50-state strategy. And we have to start getting out there in Iowa, in New Hampshire. Oh, you think I didn't know? Oh, we know what we got to do. We know. I've been a long student of politics. And don't think I never went to college. Oh, I went back. Okay, I didn't finish it, but I did go back. And I did a lot of things before that. But in the end, I actually have and I'll share that with you guys. I have a top grade in U.S. political college level history. And the point is that I understand the system, and I've been paying attention, and I know how to run for president. I know that you have to do certain things. And one of the things that we have to do is we have to get to New Hampshire, we have to get to Iowa. But the beautiful thing about that is if all we say as a strategy, we just focus on getting attention there. The attention there will spread out to the rest of the country. So that means that's where our advertising dollars will be spent initially to see how well we can do there. So these are objectives that we have to be realistic about. So we have to raise money so we could do that. That's first. 2. And that's just putting ads there. And I'd like to get going on that. In fact, I have a goal to do that before the week's out, to have all that in place. Those will be the first ads we ever put out. The website's ready. Your Happy Healer's ready. You've seen him in action. Come on now. You have seen him. We're talking about the true things. You have an issue with the campaign or some direction. I want to hear from you. You contact me at us@happyhealerforpresident.com. And it's getting hot in here because the air conditioning went off, and I'm over on my show and I got my jacket on. But the point is we have to reach these goals. And so I will share with you what the thinking is, what the strategy is, what the numbers are, all that stuff. No reason to hide any of that. In fact, transparency is a great thing, and also it leaves for us a horse race. It makes things clear. And we'll never need as much as the other guys. They don't know how to get things done like I do. First off, just to do the things I did already would have cost them hundreds of thousands of dollars. Really. Go look at their sites and look at mine. I mean, that's all what running for a candidate, running for a position is being able to say the things that are important. They say nothing. They don't even have truth. And to be able to do the website and different things. They're failing on all of it. And they got $3 million, $50 million. Your people's candidate who virtually has the correct answers, he's not pig-headed. I know sometimes, here's the thing I'll say. The truth is what matters most. For me to be correct is not so important. It just so happens that I'm saying the truth a lot. But if I get something wrong, I expect somebody to tell me, please. And we'll get it right. And that's what's important. So, and I'm always willing to have that conversation. I'm never not budgeable for truth. You just have to convince me it's truth. But here's the thing. You also have compassion, human compassion. So it won't be, I just don't want to hear anyone ever take that to a stupid degree, right? Like, oh, well, what if the truth is that the earth would be better off if all humanity died? Would you just see them all die? No, that's why you have pillars. And that's why there's sometimes multiple truths. And it's always the greater truth. And I talk about the greater truth in my speeches often. So if you listen to that. So the next goal is I want to actually go out to Iowa, New Hampshire, and some of these beginning states, New York. I have a brother in New York. And do some campaigning out there and get it on the channel and just continue doing it. That's what we're doing. And also and so that's goal number 2. Goal number 3, I want to get campaign offices started in New Hampshire, Iowa, and New York. I'd like to have all of this stuff done in the next 2 months. And that's even running behind. We got a lot of work to do. And that's actually a great task for the people's candidate. And it's not that far behind either. We're just fine. When you have the right ideas and you're doing the right things and you know what the right things to do are, you can bridge the divide. The people are hungry for real truth. People they're prisoner to their own psyche. That's what I have worked so hard to not be, is that human condition we all suffer from, that we have to sort of rise above even things that feels natural for us. But because we do it, we are improved, we are happier, we are better off, but we didn't know it beforehand. That's the thing. So this is not, I'm always open for criticisms. Make your criticisms so I can answer them, so I can respond to them. I have a special place on the website and the blog where I respond to a lot of things and I just put things out there, very transparent in that way. And so that's how we're running, folks. We're using media. It's a new way to run in terms of using every facet of media to convey our messages that are also important, and also to communicate with you, fellow Americans. God bless you. We'll see you tomorrow.